When it became known that the Deep Purple's lead singer Ian Gillan was going to give 4 concerts in Yerevan, people simply found it hard to believe. At that time, in 1990, Armenia was moving steadily towards independence, but the Soviet rule was still there. In the Soviet Union, rock music was semi-legal, and for the fans in this country, the international rock stars seemed absolutely unattainable. And there you are, Ian Gillan is announced to be launching a tour around the Soviet Union and to give 4 concerts in Armenia's capital Yerevan. It was simply unbelievable. It seemed a dream, too good to be true. Yet true it was. The Armenian fans of Ian Gillan had 4 evenings with him at the sports and concert arena, finding it hard to believe that this was reality. Gillan's visit to Armenia had particular importance. In 1989, a year after the devastating Spitak earthquake that took lives of 25,000 people and left hundreds of thousands homeless, a constellation of British rock stars decided to help Armenia by recording the cover version of Deep Purple's Smoke on the Water hit, thus contributing to fundraising for the country. Rock Aid Armenia project was the brainchild of the 24-year-old John D. A few months after Spitak earthquake, John was asked to help transfer images from the calamity zone to an American TV companies via satellite. The tragedy conveyed by these images affected John so much that he initiated the Rock Aid Armenia project. John's enthusiasm helped to have true rock and roll legends unite around the project. Ian Gillan and Ritchie Blackmore from Deep Purple, Brian May and Roger Taylor from Queen, Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath, David Gilmour from Pink Floyd, Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, Jeff Downes from Asia, Chris Squire from Yes, Keith Emerson from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and many others did not spare time and effort for the success of this initiative. "20 years had passed since the recording at London Metropolis Studios. In February 2009, MediaMax media company from Armenia launched a tribute project, Armenia Grateful to Rock, as a sign of appreciation of the effort of the celebrated musicians who called the world's attention to the tragedy of Armenia. MediaMax got in touch with John D, and after 8 months hard work, another unexpected miracle came true. Unbelievable for the new generation of Armenian rock fans born in 1989 or 1990. Ian Gillan visited Armenia again, 20 years after.
20 years ago, I was 12. I was younger than...
Tony Iommi, Jeff Downs, and organizer of Rock Aid Armenia John D. joined Ian Gillan for his trip to Armenia. By President of Armenia Sir Sargsyan's decree, Ian Gillan, Tony Iommi, Brian May, David Gilmour and John D. were awarded the Order of Honor, the highest award established by the Armenian state for foreign nationals. All other participants of the project were awarded memorable medals and diplomas by the Armenian Prime Minister.
Oh, the recording session. Wow. It was crazy. Everyone was very generous. They just turned up and gave their contribution. It was, musicians are, they never talk about the big issues. It's, when we're at the studio, it's, is that dog still alive? Do you still got that car? How's your football team doing, and that sort of thing. So it's not a big deal about why you're there. We never talk about those things particularly. It's about, or even the music. It's different. Professional musicians are strange creatures. But there was a great sense of fun. That's the whole point. When you're doing stuff like this, you've got to have fun doing it. You don't think about the big issue. You think about it's something you're doing for some benefit, and you just enjoy the work.
Thank you so much.
During his trip to Soviet Armenia in 1990, Ian Gillan visited Spitak. He still remembers being approached by an elderly woman who came up to him in Spitak and showed a photograph of her family. There were 28 people in that photograph, including children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. None of them survived the earthquake. Now she was all alone. And when I was asked to tell about what I had seen, I could not articulate a single word. I just sobbed, Gillan recalls. In an interview to Armenian Garun magazine in 1990, Ian Gillan said, "Something seems to have stopped in Armenia. I was in Spitak on May 19, and probably the most important thing I heard there were the words of a friend of the mayor's. He said that after the earthquake, no music had ever been played at weddings. And then he added, but I believe this is wrong. We should remember what happened, but at some point in time, music should come back. When Armenians are ready to hear the music while still paying tribute to the past, we shall have a most outstanding celebration." In October 2009, Ian Gillan, Tony Iommi and Jeff Downs visited music school number 6 in Gyumri. The school had been destroyed by the earthquake, and to this day, for 20 years already, children have studying music in temporary iron shelters. Before the earthquake, the school had about 500 students. Now there are only 200. It is children from the insecure areas of Gyumri that mostly attend the school. Despite the lack of elementary conditions, the school maintains the high standard of music education. Classical, folk and jazz music is taught here.
Good left hand you got there.
Hearing the children play, Ian Gillan and Tony Iommi decided it was important to help rebuild the school. Right on the spot, an agreement was reached that in March 2010, Ian Gillan would appear in charity concerts jointly with the Armenian Philharmonic Orchestra. The promoter of the concerts was MediaMax, and the proceeds from the concerts, coming $45,000, were entirely transferred to the fund for the school rebuilding.
My name is Nuna I like your songs very much.
Oh, thank you.
Can I take a photo?
Yes, of course. Thank you. I know. Where are we?
Photos of the kids we're doing in a minute.
Is that the correct way?
Thank you. Mr. Gillen, with child, one group photo.
Yes, of course, yeah.
I think there's...
And is there any particular shortage of instruments that you have?
Ինչ-որ հատուկ գործիքների կարիք ունեք, ինչ-որ տենց գործիք կա, ինչի հենց այդ գործիքի կարիք ունեք։
Ֆլեյտաների, փողային գործիքների, դառնալապես կարիք ունենք, լավ գիտարների,
Pipes, they need good
հարվածային
Guitars
and flute.
flute? Yeah.
սաքսոֆոնների եղնի,
Saxophones.
սոպրանո։
They need
Soprano.
saxophone.
Soprano saxophone.
Yeah.
Մեկ է ուդարնի կոմպլեկտ։ Հարվածային։
Drums. Soprano saxophones.
Բայց տալի չէ պես, մեծ տալի չէ պես, որից այդ բոլորը արկեստրը են չէ։
Yeah, but first of all, he says we need a hall to make all these instruments sound.
Oh, of course. Yes, absolutely.
Konanas.
Okay, once again, thank you very much.
2 months after the visit to the school, Ian Gillan and Tony Iommi sent gifts for children, quality guitars and a drum set.
You know what? Time is a great healer, and music is the accompaniment to that. We all mourn when tragedy happens. We feel for ourselves, not for the departed. It's the pain of loss that is the great mourning at when you lose a relative, a friend, or people in your community. The people who have gone are not suffering anymore. They're somewhere else. Their spirit is somewhere else. So it's this bond that we have with humanity that causes the pain, and it takes time to heal it.
In October 2009, Armenian Prime Minister Tigran Sargsyan conferred the Orders of Honor to the rock stars. In his remarks of appreciation, the Prime Minister stated, 20 years have passed since the earthquake. While the people of Armenia recall with deep sorrow the losses that we have had, the human lives that were taken, on the other hand, we are full of great feelings for people who were by our side at that time when the world suddenly felt a very small place. We received aid from various spots on the globe, and it is through this occasion and through you that we want to express our gratitude to everyone who helped us. Never could I imagine that I shall have the honor of conferring an award on the famous musicians whose fan I have always been myself. This is one of the happiest days in my life. This is the hall of Yerevan Moscow Cinema. About 500 people have gathered here to meet their idols. 3 generations of rock fans can be seen here. There are people who took seat in the hall next to their children and grandchildren. Our music is a tree which has strong roots, Ian Gillan says. The fruits may fall down close to the tree or far. The leaves may change their color depending on the season of the year, but the tree is standing there strong. The average age of Deep Purple's fan today is 18, he adds. People catch every word pronounced from the stage, and the hall burns with applause as Ian Gillan says that he will perform in Yerevan in March 2010. It is with extreme sincerity that he tells his fans that he is having a great time here.
The complexity of human nature is something that a part of it is actually the learning process of making friends or feeling difficult situations. We understand. If you walk into a room, you can tell the atmosphere, what we call the atmosphere. Is it a friendly atmosphere or is it unsettled? Some people are more sensitive than others. Some cultures are more sensitive than others. And I felt in Armenia a great affinity with my natural spirit, very welcoming, very open, a great strength in the community of knowing how you are, who you are. You're not undecided about things. You have strength, and I felt very welcome. And naturally, if you go to somebody's house and they open the door, say, "Come in. Would you like some food, some company, and some conversation, some affection?" Then it's greatly appreciated. And so it's easy to be friendly with Armenia, with Armenian people. It's easy. You make it easy. You have strong spirit, and your aspirations are easily expressed and easy to understand. I sense a great feeling of optimism, and I understand that because that's my nature, that's my family's nature.
When we were playing together with Ian Gillan, he's too modest to mention that he donated a song devoted to the earthquake, right? That comes to play together. And Arsene Grigoryan was playing the flute on that track. And he has the harmonica you gave him. So,
I've had a dream all of my life, and I've been, since I was 8 years old, I first heard the word infinity. And my school teacher said the word infinity means things go on forever, in all directions. And that's easy enough to say, but I went home and it was a summer night, and I thought about things go on forever. Is that possible? How can it be possible? It must be, no, everything must stop somewhere. So I thought of my bedroom. I was lying in bed, and the room, it ends with the boundaries. But beyond the door is the house. And beyond the house is the garden, and beyond the garden is the street, and beyond the street is the town, and beyond the town is the country, and there's the coast of England, and then there's the ocean. And then there's the planet Earth, and then there's the sky and the stars and the galaxies. And I was going crazy now, so I thought it's got to stop somewhere. So in my imagination, I built a brick wall, like at the end of my garden, around the universe, as far as I could imagine. Beyond all imagination was this brick wall. And then I thought, okay, now I feel safe. And I started to fall asleep, and then I woke up, my God, what is behind the bricks? And I thought, it does go on forever, but it's impossible to understand because it must be in easily manageable proportions. So I've been thinking about this all my life. God is not the same thing as religion. Religion is a cultural thing. And my understanding of God and religion has been encapsulated in a small phrase by saying to my friends, if I was born in Mecca, it's most unlikely that I would have grown up to be a Catholic. And if you follow that line of thinking, you can understand the difference between how we understand God or the spirit or the human soul with our own local culture, with our own environment. And of course, they're all different, and we end up having arguments about God. But I believe strongly that we have a spirit within us, and we might as well call it God. It's a word that we understand, and a word that everyone respects. And but the religions claim there's only one God, and each religion, I believe, is valid. But it's very old, and we're reading from books written by prophets from a long time ago. And if we can improve our science of understanding, Euclid told us about parallel lines. But in this last 100 years ago, we started thinking of quantum thinking. And we now know that parallel lines don't exist. So my dream is to just continue to explore these things with people who have imagination and try and bring our understanding a little further forward. If we can jump our science forward, then we can jump our thinking about God forward as well. And we can improve our moral guidance and maybe change things a little bit. It's not that dramatic, but it's very important to me.
Here in this prison of my own making, year after day I have grown into a hero, but there's no worship. Where have they hidden my throne? With emptiness, hills and snow, unfriending as chimney, I'm whispering pictures of home.
music, of course, is something, generally speaking, joyful, and it takes a while to play music with any dignity again. So the last couple of nights was extremely joyful. Excuse my voice, I've strained my voice and too much enthusiasm. But it's wonderful to be able to enjoy the music again, and hopefully it's the accompaniment to the healing process.
Somebody